Hi, we are Ewan and Joanna, your school captains, and we will be leading you through this year's Remembrance Assembly.
Remembrance Day is celebrated on the 11th day of the 11th month. As in 1918, the armistice, which was a ceasefire between the Allied forces in Germany in World War I, began at 11 a.m. on the 11th of November.
This is why Remembrance Day and the symbol of the poppy is most associated with World War I. However, Remembrance Day is also a time to remember all of those who have fought or continue to fight in conflicts all across the world. Remember the sacrifices they have made to protect our freedoms and our way of life.
Throughout the assembly, you will see and hear speakers and musicians from across the school. We ask that you watch the assembly quietly and respectfully and use it as an opportunity to reflect on the courage and selflessness of those who stood up in times of great conflict, and use it as an opportunity to ensure that their sacrifices are never forgotten.
What you will now see is a video of a number of our S1s visiting the Dolby Hall War Memorial, just a short walk from our very school. Reading the inscriptions on the memorial, you not only notice the number of men of this area that made the ultimate sacrifice in war, but the names that they share. The memorial names 18 pairs of brothers who went to war together and died together in the conflict. One family alone bore the loss of 3 sons, killed in battle. These names show that war never claims just one. Whole families share the suffering and feel the loss. In Larbert, this was the case for dozens of families who lost sons, brothers, loved ones, remembered forever on the memorial.
As a part of our service for this year of Remembrance Day, we journeyed to the Dolby Hall War Memorial in the centre of Larbert.
This memorial commemorates of the men of Larbert and the surrounding area who served and lost their lives in the First World War and the Second World War.
This memorial was unveiled on September the 22nd, 1922. This is one of the hundreds that can be found all across Scotland, a testament to the thousands of men who left their home for the war and never returned home.
The Dolby Hall Memorial lists 288 names of soldiers in World War I and over 70 in World War II.
Before we left, we laid a wreath at the foot of the memorial and stood together for a minute in silence, remembering the names of the fallen, etched forever in metal. On the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, we all must take time to remember in silence all those who gave their lives in combat, to remember their sacrifice, to remember what they left behind, to remember what they fought for.
The dark and bleak western front of World War I was contrasted by the bright and resilient poppies, which managed to survive through the chaos and destruction. The poppies became the inspiration for Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae to write his poem In Flanders Fields. The poem then inspired the American War Secretary, who bought poppies to sell to her friends as a way to raise money for servicemen in need following World War I.
In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row. That marks our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarce, heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Remembrance is a time to honour those who sacrificed their lives so that we can enjoy freedoms we have today. In World War II, millions of people fought against the forces of oppression and dictatorship. They stood up for values like freedom, democracy and human rights, often facing incredible dangers on the battlefield. These brave individuals weren't just fighting for themselves, but for future generations, so that we could live in peace. Their sacrifice reminds us that the freedoms we sometimes take for granted came at a great cost. If you take a look at the seat next to you and think about the seat that you're sitting in, the freedom to sit in that seat was fought for. Your liberty to choose was fought for. We remember today the freedoms that were fought for and those that are still being battled for. You'll be aware that there's conflicts over the world, battles still being fought for things that we often take for granted. And this is a reminder to be thankful. As a Christian, there's lots of things that I read in the Bible about being thankful. Gratitude in the Bible, coming from an original Hebrew translation, it means extending favour forward, meaning that my gratitude and thankfulness needs to be an active and continual thing. In these war-torn and challenging places in our world, organisations like Open Doors, Hope for Justice and many more are fighting for the liberties of others. And I'm thankful for this, but also encouraged to do my part where I can and remember those that are still in the fight. As we remember those who have battled for our freedoms and those who are still fighting, we pay tribute to their bravery, determination, and also are thankful for their sacrifices, for the privileges we have today.
To those who served in conflicts past and those who serve today, we remember. Remember all you gave and all you lost. We remember what you fought for. We remember what you fell for. On the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, in silence we show our respect. We remember your sacrifice, we remember you. Now we will ask everyone to stand as we observe our minute's silence for those who served and continue to serve. We ask that you all show your respect during this silence. When the bugle sounds, you may sit back down.